Welcome into the epicenter of esports news, scores, and highlights. It's Esports Go. I'm Matt Brown.
And I'm Justin Gillerman. Week 2 of the Overwatch League began last night, and we were treated to a thriller right off the bat. It was the match that had a lot of people questioning who was for real and who wasn't. There was the interesting Fusion team who kind of still hold a little mystery around them, and a Shock team looking to prove the naysayers wrong. Let's take a look at the highlights and see which team came out on top. We start off on Anubis, where Carpe shows his skills on Widowmaker, easily taking out the Shock while on defense. The Fusion prevent the Shock from getting more than point A. The Fusion attack is excellent with great Genji play to secure objectives by two different players. First up is Carpe, who despite having his Dragon Blade ruin, clears the Shock from point A and secures several kills and the point. Not to be outdone though, Shadowburn hops on the Genji and clears out the Shock's backline to secure point B for the victory on Anubis. The teams are tied 1-1 going into halftime. Map 3 was close, but an amazing Zarya ult from Shadowburn into a Diva bomb from Poco wipes the Shock from existence. The Fusion will go on and win Map 3 and draw Map 4, and the Fusion take a 2-1 victory over the Shock. The Shock were one of the teams I was most interested coming into this week. Seeing how they responded to a couple performances that had most people surprised. They came out the gate with a win on Dorado, but weren't able to get much going from there as the Fusion found a way to get back on track. Philly was able to stave off San Francisco on that last map, get that 2-1 victory, but both teams prove that they can be a force to be reckoned with in this league.
And this was a match with the most importance in terms of a measuring stick that night. Philly was able to hold off a feisty Shock group who almost took it to extra play. The Fusion had some issues with the McCree and Junkrat play of the Shock, which Fraggy admitted in this tweet, stating, "Need to work on our gameplay against McCree and Junkrat. If we can fix that, most teams should give us much less trouble. They'll need to ride this momentum, beat the Gladiators tonight, and then go head on into their Week 3 match against the Excelsior." Now, the second match of the day featured the 2-0 Seoul Dynasty against the 0-2 Florida Mayhem. Seoul looked to continue their dominance as we start on Map 2 Horizon. The Mayhem attack fast and immediately snake a tick on point A with Tevic's Sombra and Logic's Tracer. It goes from bad to worse for the Dynasty. When Munchkin tries to get on the point as Tracer, he is immediately killed by the Mayhem. The Mayhem get a few more picks and secure point A easily. Now point B is another story though. The Dynasty defense is too strong, in part thanks to incredible defense from Fleta's Junkrat, who rains bombs from above. The Mayhem do not have an answer and they do not capture point B. The Mayhem defense is strong on point A. The Dynasty only managed to get ticks on the point when there is only 20 seconds on the clock. They carry the momentum to point B and easily take it. The momentum switch was hard in favor of the Dynasty, who take the next two maps easily, and they finish the day with a 4-0 victory over the Mayhem. The Dynasty overpowered the Mayhem down the stretch after a scare on the Horizon map, only winning that game 2-1. For the Mayhem, though, it's the same old song and dance as we go back to the fact that they can't sustain momentum with their minimal roster.
And I got to say, though, Matt, I was thoroughly impressed with the way the Mayhem played the Dynasty. They showed some solid defense at times and a knack for making some well-timed moves. However, the Dynasty proved to be too much at the end. But now it begs the question, are the Dynasty a little vulnerable and not that ever so dominant that we thought they would be? The Outlaws were a team looking to bounce back from a bad start to the season, while the Dragons were looking to find a little bit of chemistry in the second week of matches. Let's see who was able to notch their first win. We start on Junkertown, where the Outlaws are dominant right from the start. Linkster is on Widowmaker and gets some great picks from way in the back line to secure the first checkpoint. The payload never stops moving, in part thanks to excellent play from Jake's Junkrat. He picks off the enemy one by one so that the Dragons can never get a great engage on the Outlaws. The Outlaws easily bring the payload all the way through Junkertown and do it looking unstoppable. The domination continues into defense, where the Dragons are unable to move the payload past the first bridge. The Houston Outlaws win the map and carry the momentum through the 3 other maps, and the Outlaws in the day with a 4-0 victory. Now, the end of our highlights means we tell you our heroes and zeros of the day. Now, who was your hero, Matt?
My hero has to once again be Fleta of the Seoul Dynasty. Fleta once stuck out amongst a team of superstars. He destroyed the competition with some great Widowmaker play. The Mayhem had no answer to this offensive
I like it. Now moving on to my hero, I'm going to have to say Linkster of the Outlaws. Jake gets a lot of credit most of the time, but Linkster showed that he was a dominant force against the Dragons, whether it be headshots on the Widowmaker, dueling it out on McCree, or annoying the enemy backline with the Tracer.
Now, the zero for that day has to be the Shanghai Dragons again. It's week 2 and we have not seen any changes. The team has looked the same since their first game, and the game plan seems to be the same as well. They need to sell players in and try to get something going and fast. They can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Now, coming up after the break, we have some more news in the esports world other than Overwatch. Stay with us. It's The Go. Welcome back to Esports Go. Details were released recently about a resolution signed by the Philippines Games and Amusement Board centered around its increasing drug testing requirement. All players will need to be tested for the evidence of methamphetamines and marijuana in their system. In addition, they must all be licensed by the state and their profits to be shared with the board itself. This could set a precedent for other countries to follow the path of legitimacy, but Filipino officials are worried that it will only hurt the local scene. Valve has already downgraded its Dota 2 tournament there from being a major, and others may follow.
A major South Korean television channel has built a new gaming studio specifically for PUBG. OGN has built a massive multi-tiered studio consisting of 80 PCs for the PUBG Survival Series that will have 20 teams of 4 competing. The event will be the first of its kind and have a total of 35 teams attending. Matches will consist of solo mode and squad matches separated into 2 different leagues. Teams from 6 other regions like North America, China, and Europe will also be participating for a total prize pool of 135,000 euros and each player getting a bonus of 6,000 if they are on the winning team. Though the creators of PUBG say the game is not ready for the esports world, this is definitely a move to launch the game into the competitive world.
The UK has started to organize leagues for kids age 12 through 19. Run by the British Esports Association, participating high schools and colleges will be able to form teams to compete in the British Esports Championships. The titles include Overwatch, League of Legends, and Mad Studios' Project Cars 2. The first grand finals are penciled in at UK's biggest esports event, Insomnia, in August of 2019. This can start a streamline to the pros in the future as the association hopes to show teachers and parents that esports is an industry with plenty of job potential. Games are set to begin in the fall of the new school year. Coming up after the break, we'll preview today's Overwatch matches. Stay right here. You're watching The Go.
Welcome back to Esports Go. It's time to take a look at today's key Overwatch matches. Now, Houston has a quick turnaround today as they played the late game last night, but did notch their first win of the season. They now go up against a Fuel team also hungry for their first win and looking to play better than they've thrown out in their first 2 games. The Outlaws are feeling confident, though. Jake tweeted out after their victory, "Looking forward to putting number 2 on the board tomorrow, feeling massive improvements in the team recently, and even more to show off versus the Dallas Fuel."
Now, the Fuel need a win here to keep their contender talk alive. Starting this stage 0-3 when many tab them as a top-tier team won't look good. So who's going to step up? Who will get this team over the hump? We know Taimu's been doing his job, but they definitely need more than that. Will it be Mickey, who struggled out of the gate as a complimentary team member, or Effect, who's shown us some strong DPS moments? Someone's got to take this team to the next level. Now, the clear favorite for this match of the night pits a couple of heavyweights against one another. It's the Valiant versus the Excelsior. What a start for both of these teams, each going 2-0 and featuring some of the league's better DPS stars. Soon for the Valiant, Pine for the XL.
Now, this match has me so excited. This was one of the matchups to watch from our show Saturday. I have both of these teams in the top 3 of our power rankings, and I can't wait to see what the game plans are that both these teams have. How do the Valiant stop Pine, and how can the XL attack that defense that the Valiant have proven to hold strong? I certainly can't wait.
I can't either.
Now, our last match of the day is between a Fusion team coming off a big win against the Shock and a Gladiators team looking to prove themselves as well. How do the Fusion come back after an emotional win? Are they still feeding off that high, or is there a letdown? And do the Gladiators tell themselves that this could be a game to cement our spot in the Pacific and in the league as a whole?
And I'm really interested in seeing how a back-to-back affects these teams. Both the first match and this last one will feature one team who had played last night going against a fresh opponent. The only 2 teams with a back-to-back last week played each other. So will the Fusion in particular get a repeat performance from Carpe and Shatterburn to outgun the Gladiators? Now that'll do it for us here today at The Go. Don't forget to check us out at our website, challengemedia.tv, for all your gaming news.
And also check us out and follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll be here all week with your news and highlights. Thanks for watching Esports Go. We'll see you next time.